Hey, it's Tori, and welcome back to my channel. Tauri Reacts! Today we have the wonderful Vicky Psarakis here on the channel. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good. We're here today to talk about your band SICKSENSE. You just brought out your second EP with the band, which is called Fools Tomorrow. It is already out now, so if you guys have heard of SICKSENSE and you haven't ordered it, what are you doing with yourselves? Go ahead and order it. I'll, of course, leave all of the links in the description below. But you've got two singles out already from that EP, which is, of course, the Fools Tomorrow and Feed Them to the Wolves. How have you found like the response to that from fans or just people discovering SICKSENSE now?
I think the response has been really good. Especially with Feed Them to the Wolves, I think because it's a much more diverse track, so there's a lot more to take in, and it may require a few more listens. But I feel like the biggest obstacle we have had, and we still have, is just getting our music in front of people. And then once they actually do check it out, the response is extremely positive. And even when it's not someone's cup of tea, because like we can't control what like our musical tastes are, of
Right.
course, but most people still have something good to say about it, even if it's not something they would, you know, willingly play. Um, so yeah, I'm really happy with how it's been going.
So that leads me on to the question of like, how do you and like the rest of the guys feel about reaction channels in regards, because you are an independent band, so how do you feel about them?
I personally always loved reaction channels. I just because I wish, it's not possible because we write our own music, but I wish I could step into like the shoes of someone watching our music video, listening to our music for the first time and like capture my own reaction. Like it's not possible because by the time it's out, I've already heard it like a gazillion times.
Hmm.
Um, but I love seeing the look on people's faces when they hear something for the first time that I created with my bandmates. And I think my favorite reaction channels are the ones where you can tell it's genuine, the facial expressions, what's going on. I love seeing it. I don't know. It's just makes me feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you say, you can definitely tell those who are 100% genuine, and then those that are just there for, clicks and subscribes
Yeah.
and all of that stuff. But,
Yeah.
I definitely feel like it's become kind of like the new advertising in a way, the new, like, instead of written reviews, you've now got people actively filming themselves listening to this music for the first time. And, you know, you've got people like vocal coaches or like Tank, who's a tech,
Yeah.
and you get all kinds of different uh, opinions from everywhere. I think it's really fun. But I know you guys just had your debut SICKSENSE shows. How were they?
Oh, they were amazing. I had a feeling that they would, go really well, but of course, thinking something and actually going through it is a very different thing. And I think just the vibe, the chemistry we all had with each other on stage, the audience, people in the crowd that didn't know all our songs, maybe had just heard the singles. We
Mhm.
also played a few covers and a medley, just getting that response and seeing how fun our shows are, was really cool. Like we had people come up to us and say that that was the most fun they had in years at a show. So, I mean, I don't take that lightly. I don't
Right.
take especially from people that go to shows like every other weekend.
Yeah.
It's like you came to our show and you had fun. That means a lot because I've attended and played shows many times in my life, and the ones that I remember just staying with me to this day are the ones where I had fun. So to be able to pass along that sentiment to a crowd is really rewarding.
Yeah, and I bet it was just rewarding in the sense of you spent all of this time planning and then eventually getting to that point and finally being up on stage in front of
Yeah.
of fans, and even if people uh just happened to see that you were playing that night and were like, oh, I've never heard this band before, let's go check them out because I'm local, let you know, it's something to do. And now they've discovered who you guys are as well. So I wish I could have come, but of course we were actually in
Distance.
Chicago at that weekend.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah.
my stepdaughter was graduating from college up there, so we were up
Cool.
there. But yeah, hopefully, I know you guys are independent right now, and I know on your Twitch stream last night that you were talking about having conversations with potential labels, so that's
Yeah.
exciting as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully, maybe in the future, you guys can tour a bit of the US, because I would absolutely love to come see you guys, and I know
Yeah.
my
And
community would as well.
oh yeah, I'm sure. And we would love it too. Like the biggest, I guess the most bittersweet thing about these shows was all the work that we put into
Yeah.
it months in advance because we ran the shows ourselves.
Hmm.
And it's just two shows and it's done. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's just so
Yeah.
sad. Whereas like at least when you're preparing for a tour, it lasts for like at least a month or something. Like it doesn't go by as fast. And yeah, it is a big priority of ours to kind of figure out how we're going to hit the road with the right tour package and the routing and all that, and playing the US market, which I think it is without a doubt the biggest market on the planet,
Hmm.
but especially for our music, it's our music is US based, like oriented, catered to American fans. So we definitely want to make that happen as soon as possible. And that is one of the main reasons why we are in talks with labels right now, because being independent is really cool and it's good to see how much we can achieve on our own. But I really know through my experience in this music industry that there's only so far you can go on your own, and getting the right label, the right management, booking agents, just the right people that are part of the industry that believe in what you do and want to help you, grow and succeed. So we're being a little picky on that. Like we're not just going to sign the first contract that comes our way, but I am hopeful that we're going to find the right partner out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I mean, things. I am a firm believer in, like, things happen for a reason, and you just gotta keep on pushing and keep on going, and I truly believe you'll get to where you want to get to, because your music is it's phenomenal. Like, I've listened to the whole EP now, and I even
Yeah.
went back and listened to your disco, your first EP with Sixth Sense, and
Yeah.
and now I think Fred, who is a
Yeah.
regular on your streams, he's going to be requesting, the one vocal take that you guys did tomorrow. So
Yeah.
I'm going to get that filmed and done for you guys. But yeah,
Can't
I'm
wait.
excited for that. I can't wait to
Yeah.
see you guys. So, how did you guys come up with, like, the new metal genre? Was it just kind of like an organic thing, or did you guys think, well, this kind of fits like Robbie's vocal style or anything like that? Like, how did you fall into that?
Yeah, I do think it was pretty organic, because like when you bring together different individuals and they all put their strengths on the table,
Hmm.
like this is what I can do, and then someone else is like, well, this is what I can do. You get the final product, which is like for Six Sense, for example, we have Brand, the guitar player that writes all the music so far to this day. Like he
Hmm.
starts a song, he writes the guitar riffs, programs the drums, just obviously the song transforms a lot till its like final form, but just creating that base. Brand's songwriting style is very groovy, and very, it's not complicated. There are moments maybe where it gets a little technical for a second, but it's very easy to digest, very groovy, and really cool melodies and stuff to latch onto. And then, you have me and Robbie bringing our strengths to the table, and Robbie's a phenomenal rapper. Like it would be a crime to not utilize that.
Yeah.
and and then I can sing, which he can't. So it's like we're utilizing that. And then we both can scream. So screaming, I wouldn't say is our songs aren't 50-50. Like we just kind of put it here and there. Some songs might have it a little more than others, but it is a cool vocal technique to add to the mix. And then we just ended up with this sound, which is like we say it's new metal because you have to pick a genre just to let people know what you're about.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not new metal in the traditional style of like how it was 20-25 years ago. There is this like modern metal touch to it, some metalcore influences. Some of the newer stuff we're writing right now is even further of a departure from the new metal style. But um, yeah, I think it's just new metal's like a nice umbrella term.
Right.
Also to kind of warn people that like, hey, if you don't like rapping, maybe you shouldn't listen to this.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So that leads me on to like your kind of like musical inspirations, like bands, or like if you could choose like a hero, either dead or alive, that you could like collaborate with on a song, who would it be and why?
I don't know.
I'm sure you have so many.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not just me, everyone in the band
Right.
has just such a wide variety of influences like
Well, and I feel like you can definitely hear that within the music. Like you say, it's a nice umbrella term, but there's just so much going on, which I really
yeah.
love. You know, it's very original sounding to me.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you. I think yeah, it probably is a natural like result of everything we've listened to in life and there's like especially Bran, he's such a fan of music. Like he literally says that if he doesn't listen to 5 albums in a day, like his day is just going wrong.
yeah,
Um
I feel
and
that.
yeah, and it's especially good when it's so diverse because a lot of fans have this like misconception that like, oh, you're a new metal band, therefore you listen to new metal music.
hmm
Some of it at times, but we also listen to, like pop or death metal or soundtracks or hip hop or anything really like it's just if music's good, it's good, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what the genre is. So to answer your question, like, or try and answer your question, I don't even think I could because like if I think of like my vocal the people that inspired me vocally when I first started singing, would I want to collaborate with them? Probably not because it wouldn't necessarily fit like like just an example like one of like the female voices that influenced me and inspired me to do this when I first started, one of them is like Tori Amos, for example,
hmm
still to this day, nothing but love and respect. But would I bring Tori Amos on a song and collab like in the Sixth Sense song? I don't think it would
right.
work, you know
yeah.
um I do think like that question could be better answered by people that are like, I'm in a thrash metal band and I only listen to thrash metal bands and I would have, so and so on a
Yeah.
song. But yeah, I feel like the music I end up creating is so different from the music I end up listening to. So I, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
um,
I totally get that. I totally get that because I'm the same. Like my playlists are all over the place. Like I have,
yeah,
I've got dance and trance on there. I've got like
yeah,
Norse Germanic sounding stuff, like Heilung
nice.
and stuff like that. And then of course I've got my metal and symphonic metal and things like that. So I totally get that answer. I
Yeah,
don't. If somebody asks me that, I don't. It's like I have a hard time. Like people asking who's your favorite band, I'm like, don't ask me that. I don't know. I
yeah,
like, I can't give you a
yeah.
full answer with that.
Yeah,
But
there are some people that have answers to these questions,
yeah,
and I'm like, how?
yeah, exactly. There's just
Yeah.
so much to enjoy in music. It's just so diverse and
Yeah.
I don't know how people just stick to one thing and they don't
Yeah.
branch out to everything because there's
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. One thing I will say though, like if we were to collaborate with an artist or a vocalist specifically on a Six Sense song, I would honestly, I would get someone that could do something that they don't do in their own band or their own
Yeah.
project. And I think that's why it's hard to answer, but like it would be like a here's this new metal band, which is already kind of different and unique
Hmm.
sounding. I admire you as a vocalist. Is there something you would want to do on this track that's really different from what you do in your own band? Um, I think that would be really cool because then people would be like, oh, they got so and so on a song, and they'd be expecting like, let's say we got someone that's known for their screams,
Yeah.
just being like a brutal like death metal or deathcore vocalist, and they had like a hidden desire to, I don't know, to rap, to just drop some bars, and like we got them to feature on a song, and people would be like, I can't wait to hear like the brutal screams, and then they come in rapping, for example.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I
So if
agree.
anyone's watching the interview, there it is, open invitation.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So I know you guys have like your mascot of the band, which is Deli. How did you guys
Yeah.
come about? Like, how did he come about?
It wasn't planned. It was a natural sort of progression.
Hmm.
We initially got Deli for our Kings Today music video because we wanted sort of a sixth, like an outside of the band person in the room to
Hmm.
sort of represent certain things about that song and that music video. And then it just ended up working so well. And people kept asking, what's up with the bear? And who's the bear? And why the bear? And it just then slowly became like we did our next music video, Forgotten Days, which was just basically a playthrough that we did at home because of, you know, we were in different cities. So we just all filmed separately and put it together. And then I was talking to our videographer, Chris Kells, and I'm like, can you sneak a little bit of deli in the video, just here and there, just like glimpses? So he did that, and then it just kept going from there. And then we had like merch designs based
Yeah.
on deli, and it just it got bigger than us. So we were like, let's just roll with it.
Well, that's cool. I liked how it's another organic thing
Yeah,
that's just happened again. Things happening for a reason, you know.
yeah.
So going way back to like the start, how did you yourself like get into music and into to singing and screaming and things like that?
Yeah, it's I've been singing since I don't know, since I could remember myself. I was just one of those kids that, you know, could sing on
Mm-hmm.
key. So like in school and plays and choir and stuff like that, teachers would ask me to participate. And when I was young, I was like really quiet and shy, and I would just whatever my teachers wanted, whatever, you know, adults asked me to do, I would just do it. I was a nice kid. So it's just been something I've been doing all my life, and I I wouldn't say when I was like 6 or 7 years old that I thought of myself like, yeah, I want to be a singer when I grow up. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only until like later on in life, like my teenage years, where I heard like heavier bands for the first time. My first introduction was, you know, like the new metal bands, the stuff that was like popular enough to make it onto like MTV at the time. So I remember being in like middle school and turning on the TV, and Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Evanescence, like all those bands would pop up, and I'd be like, "This is so cool." And because before that, I was listening to stuff like Backstreet Boys and like Britney Spears,
Yeah.
which was also good, but it didn't like inspire or motivate me to want to do
Hmm.
that. I didn't look at like Britney Spears and be like, I want to be her, you know.
Right.
I looked at Amy Lee and was like, I want to be her. And I think that that was the beginning of it, and then that later brought me into like heavier, even heavier music, and discovered like even like melodic death metal, my first introduction to screaming. And I, in the beginning, I wasn't like in love with it. I really didn't understand. Like my knee jerk reaction was like, why are they screaming over music? Um, but then I slowly got it, and like I think the I fell in love with the music, and then I understood the screaming afterwards and what it brought to the table that like singing wouldn't. And that kind of, I guess, after all this, when I was like finished high school and was already in a university, which I dropped out of, but that's a whole other story. I started singing, I guess, a little more professionally, like started actually training my voice. And I was very obsessed with trying to do things that were out of my comfort zone, and mainly because like my natural singing voice was just very pristine and very um just very fitting to like a Disney song or a
Mm-hmm.
musical, or could work really well in like one of the symphonic metal bands if I
Mm-hmm.
just kept it in that style, but that's not what I wanted to do. So I wanted to like I really worked to train my voice to like sing in more mid-range, lower ranges, distortion, all these different vocal techniques. And then, screaming was came afterwards. It was like, okay, I learned how to do all this. Maybe I could try screaming now. And I was only 25 when I first started to try and scream. So I started pretty late. And yeah, it was just I think a genuine curiosity at that point, like what can I do with my voice? How far can I push, my own boundaries and limits, and see what I can do, because most diverse vocalists on the planet, they don't just wake up and do all these different vocal styles.
No.
It like takes years of work and practice. So
Yeah.
I think for me it was just a natural curiosity. Yeah.
That's really cool because I think we're around the same age, so I think we grew up both in that same sort of time period of Linkin Park and Evanescence, and
Yeah.
the band that got that. I was the same as you, like with like the screaming, the growling. The first band I ever listened to that had that was Trivium with their
Mm.
debut album, and I was like, this song would be really good if it didn't have the growls, or and then I just kept listening and listening. I was like, wait a minute, this actually really works,
Yeah.
and that's how I fell in love with that type of music as well. So
Yeah.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
um Talking of touring, and if you what dream band, if you could pick any band, it doesn't matter if it fits your genre or not, if you could open for them, who would it be?
Hmm. It's interesting because like the band I it's like two different questions. Like, what is the dream band, let's say, for me as an artist
Yeah.
to open for? But also, what is the dream band to open for in terms of like would be cool for Sixth Sense because their audience would really like us.
Yeah.
Because I always think that way. Like,
Right, and that's a good way to think.
yeah. Because, like, it goes back to, like, oh, bands I would want to open for that I love as bands. I don't think our music would necessarily work with their audience.
Hmm.
Um, I would say, like, if Chester Bennington were still alive and Linkin Park were playing shows, that would be a band that would check both boxes,
Right.
um, of, like, sentimental value, but also target audience. But that's not the case anymore. Um, but
Unfortunately.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, I guess, Evanescence would be really cool. I feel like that would target like young teenager me, like sentimental and also could work musically. Um, Also, I think Lacuna Coil would be a really good fit, which is also a band that I discovered when I was like 16 years old. So it does check that like nostalgia sort of influence box. And then in terms of like opening up as like Sixth Sense, which I think would be an amazing fit. And I've said this, I think I said it yesterday on my stream too. I don't know if you were there at that time. I was just like, Limp Bizkit. As I was saying, like somebody clip this and send it to like their team and like just say Sixth Sense is available. Just like, can we open up for you?
Yeah.
Um, just because I've been to a Limp Bizkit show and it is all about having fun, and that's kind of our vibe too. So I just really think that their audience would really like us too.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that
yeah,
would be a fantastic fit, honestly. From like
yeah,
I've never seen them live, but I've seen clips here and there of like Fred just like dressed up. He's like dressed really silly or something, and just like
yeah,
having the time of his life. And
yeah.
I think, yes, I think that would be a fantastic fit. Hopefully somebody does clip that and he's like, "Hey, Fred, here, like check these
I'm
guys
here. I'm
out.
available. We'll open up for you. Cause also like there are other new metal bands that I can think of that I would love to play shows with, but I don't know if like the darker, heavier sounding new metal bands would be as good of a fit.
Hmm.
Like I would love to play with Korn, for example, would be awesome, but they are darker, they are more serious, like heavier. I've never seen Korn live. I'd love to see them live, so I don't know what the vibes are like.
Hmm.
So my first pick would be like a funner, more lighthearted, let's just have a blast type of tour package. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, talking of Twitch, how did you start on Twitch?
Um, I just like during the pandemic, like a lot of musicians did, it was in my head even pre-pandemic times,
Hmm.
but it was just a matter of time, and I didn't have like the gear and all that because it is a financial investment as well.
Hmm.
And I was very active before the pandemic in terms of like touring and songwriting and stuff like that. I just didn't find myself at home for an extended period of time to start this whole new endeavor. So when the pandemic happened, it was kind of like a switch flipped in my brain where it's like, well, who knows how long I'm gonna be stuck inside for? Uh, n- Now's the time. It's either
Hmm.
now or never. And I didn't start right away with Twitch. I started first with Patreon
Hmm.
and started doing like private live streams to kind of get an idea of the vibe and if I would be comfortable doing it to an audience and all that, because it's not like I'm very introverted as a person. It's not easy for me to just open up and be like, here I am, I'm myself, and admittedly, after a stream, I feel exhausted. Like, I feel like it's just such an emotional, like, outpour and a lot of energy that I give that, most extroverts don't have that. They feel great after like
Yeah.
socializing and like being in public and all that. And I'm like, I love it. I have a blast. It's great to connect with the audience, but like, I'm exhausted afterwards. So, all that to say that, like, yeah, I started it first privately through like Patreon, and then I saw, I have a pretty cool community. Let's do this on Twitch now. Let's do this publicly because not everyone can afford or wants to subscribe to Patreon like monthly membership. Which is kind of funny to think, like, I have some people on Twitch that have probably donated so much money, like way more than they would have given compared to like just subscribing on like my first tier on Patreon.
Yeah.
So I think it's a different kind of platform and just offers a lot of real-time interaction. And I think I fell in love with that aspect of streaming where it's like you just turn on the camera, you just be yourself, and some days are better than others, and some days you're more high energy, other days you're more like, oh man, I'm exhausted, but your community understands, you build this like genuine bond with the community that understands and is there to support you no matter what. So yeah, I think that answer I went beyond the
No.
question, but yeah.
No, I love that you went more into it because I am the same. Like I am a huge introvert. Like me doing these interviews is a huge thing for me. Like even though we spoke before, like even on in email or on Twitch, literally 5 minutes before any interview starts, my heart's going boom, 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 boom. Because it's not that I'm nervous to talk to you. It's just who I am as a person.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm very quiet. I'm not shy. I'm just a quiet
Yeah.
person. And like you, after streaming, I stream for like 3 hours on like a Monday and a Friday. After that, I'm
Yeah.
just like, don't expect me to make dinner right now because my
Yes.
social battery is gone and I'm just exhausted. So I completely,
Yeah.
completely get that.
I wish it were easier, but it is what it is.
Well, and it's like you say, it's nice to connect with that community because you know that community is there for you and for what you're doing and your band, and they're
Yeah,
there to support uh, your future and what you want to do. And it's nice for them to turn up and to be there for us. So it's
for
just
sure.
It's just really, really nice. So I don't want to keep you too much longer because I know it's
You're
like
good.
it's Sunday and it's Father's Day as well. You know, I completely forgot it was Father's Day, and I like had to call my dad and all of that. And he's 5 hours ahead of me, so
Oh,
yeah,
right, because
yeah,
yeah, you
yeah,
moved here, but
yeah,
I guess the rest
yeah,
of your family is still in the UK.
yeah, yeah. On my well, everybody apart from my sister are all still in England, and then my sister, she married a Swede, so she's in Sweden.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So you both were like, we're not finding anyone from here. We're just gonna.
Pretty much, yeah, yeah. We were just like, peace, see you later.
That's funny.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much for joining me today and for chatting with me, and I know my community is going to enjoy this interview, and I just wanted to ask you if you had like any last words you wanted to say to your fans or to new people who are discovering
Um,
you and your music right now.
just the thing I always say, just like how I started the interview, where I just said that the biggest obstacle for us and any younger new band that's independent, not signed, but even when you're signed, it's still hard. It's really hard to get your music in front of people and get them to actually click on it and listen
Mm-hmm.
to it like past, the first 20 seconds. But then when they do, I feel like the feedback we've gotten with Sixth Sense is like bigger than anything I've ever done. And I've seen comments that are like crazy in a way of like, this is like the best song I've heard in the last 10 years, or you guys are shaping the future of the genre, or just really big words past this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll take those comments too, of course, but like when I see really big words from people that just discovered us, it just makes me feel like my purpose in life is much bigger than I thought it was, as corny as that may sound. But just based on that, I would just, if anyone's watching this and like heard a song and enjoyed it, like I would just encourage them to go listen to both EPs, listen to everything we've done so far, and just like support us in any way possible, whether that's just liking a video, subscribing, sharing, following us on all social media. That goes a long way. That goes a long way because right now the biggest struggle is, like I said, getting your music in front of people. So like when you cause that sort of buzz on the internet of like sharing a band and like that band constantly popping on people's feed, eventually people are like annoyed and they're like, what is this? I'm going to check it out. So that's honestly the best way to help. And then if someone really, really likes what we do and wants to support even further, because we are independent so far and we are funding everything ourselves, monetary support is appreciated. So like you can follow us on Patreon, or get some merch. I had to take one of these tanks for myself because they're super comfy.
I was looking at
Um,
them last night.
yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get one of the tanks because
Oh,
it gets really warm here in North Carolina, so it's
yeah.
like perfect for the summer. So I think I'm gonna get myself one.
Well,
Plus,
thank
the
you.
designs are really I like Deli. Just yeah,
Yeah.
he sells it for me.
That's so cool. Yeah, and we wanted to do something different because like our music is different from most bands, and um it's like I said, the fun lighthearted vibe. So our merch designs are just
Yeah,
they're cute, they're
yeah.
not like typical metal like zombies and monsters and like just doing something different. And yeah, so I guess that's it. I don't know. Any and all support is appreciated, basically.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me and for hanging with me. And
Thank
of
you.
course, guys, please don't forget to head on over to Six Sense's YouTube channel, their Instagram, their Facebook, their Twitter, anywhere they have social media. I will leave it all in the description down below. I'll also leave, of course, their website where you can order the EP. Of course, the EPs, you've got it streaming on every platform, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So if people like if the physical is too expensive because, shipping, not everyone lives in the States,
Mm-hmm.
they can, buy it digitally. We also have Bandcamp or iTunes or just Spotify, anything really. We're
Okay.
everywhere.
Yeah, so I'll leave everything down in the description. Of course, I'll leave Vicky's Twitch channel down in the description. Also, when do you stream usually?
Right now I'm doing Mondays and Saturdays.
Mondays and Saturdays. Okay, so
Yeah.
you guys can head on over and of course follow Vicky over there and of course subscribe if you can. But yeah, thank you so much, Vicky. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I appreciate you, and I can't wait to see what, you know, the future brings for you and for Sixth Sense, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get to see you down in North Carolina soon.
I hope so too. Thank you so much for inviting me and taking the time and just supporting in many ways than just like one. Like, you've been really awesome, Tori. Thank you.
You're welcome. But thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to become a Taurian. Speaking of becoming a Taurian, all of my social media links and my Discord link are down in the description. We'd absolutely love to have you come hang out in the Discord community, and I will see you guys in the next video. Rock on.